Okay, good evening, dear Toastmasters from District 109-95. It is really a pleasure to communicate tonight with you online. And we have, if we may say so, a simple topic tonight and a very important and crucial one: how to give guests and new members a great time. And let's dedicate the next 10-12 minutes to this topic, to think about it and to establish a perfect ground that interested people, guests and new members not only come, but that they stay in the Toastmaster clubs. So let's have a look at those ideal bubbles, which are, in my case, a symbol of freedom, of feeling really at ease and maintaining this inner child of myself. Of course, there has to be an initial impulse to connect and to find Toastmasters by communicating with other Toastmasters, or just by the needs of business life, or by the need of a certain topic. And so possibly you will be a guest among the Toastmasters. And of course, it is important to make the best of these first encounters. And I remember quite well my first encounters, my first guest times in Rhetorik Club Zurich in the early 2010. And I started being a Toastmaster on February the 17th. I was so enthusiastic. I was so overwhelmed by being now a Toastmasters and being able to join all those people who are leaders. Imagine not only speaking on the stage, but also being somebody who is able to guide others, to support others, and to overcome all those hurdles which might have occurred and been in my way. And so I think it is quite important that as a guest, you are welcome. You're okay, and I am okay. And we meet on the same level, on the same height. And I think there are some of the secrets, this magic, to be appreciated a lot by those who are among the people in the club, and that you are appreciated just the person as you are. And this is important. There are no titles important. There isn't an age or sex question, but you're just the person you are. You enter, and I hope that you feel welcome. And for us Toastmasters and you participants of this webinar, I think there are the main things to be aware and to be prepared to accompany those people into this pre-phase. The pre-phase, I call it, when the VPM gets in touch with a prospect, and it would be a good idea to just have a coffee meeting, 20-30 minutes, a chat, a very easy chat about the ideas of the interested person, about the main first questions, and to open a good conversation, a discussion, and getting really in contact, showing all the different activities which are done in our meetings and in the further Toastmaster world. That's important, that the prospect knows where this trip might lead to. And this is a quite special phase, I think, which is important, that we invite the prospect to be also open-minded and open himself and get in contact with us. So this might lead, and I do hope so, into the guests, in the guests' first regular Toastmaster meeting. This is the diamond. because here the guest is experimenting, experiencing for the first time a normal Toastmaster meeting with all the different parts prepared and table topic speeches, the evaluations, and all the roles which lead to a complete Toastmaster meeting. What helps to join, to guide this new guest into the whole? I think very important, and for most of us quite obvious and quite normal. The handshakes, not only from the person at the door, but also from the different people among the board, and also all the other Toastmasters should greet this person and smile and invite to feel at ease during this meeting. Of course, there is a guest number plate prepared. There is an extra agenda on the table. And as you can realize, Toastmasters, all the Toastmasters add to this easy feeling during this first meeting. Might be that you already have prepared a welcome package with the main papers, so that the person can read afterwards and see how the next steps are being done. To summarize this little aspect, the Toastmaster is welcoming, introducing the person himself, and leading and accompanying the guest through the first meeting. Any or every Toastmaster is able to do so. Just feel responsible, feel open-minded, feel normal, and explain how the meeting is done, what are the necessary roles, and so the guest feels more and more open and is following the different activities throughout the 2 to 3 hours. What are his duties? What is he offering? What is his part in such a first meeting? The guest says in half a minute who he is and how he got here, and might be that he also participates in the first table topics round. And of course, at the end of the meeting, he or she will give a short feedback. How was the meeting? How did he feel throughout the meeting? And is he coming again? Of course, all of us, all of you who want to create a lively atmosphere in our Toastmaster clubs, we are really intending that the prospect comes again. And so the VPE might lead the prospect through the next steps, which are also accompanied by the VPM and the VP mentoring, so that quite soon and quite quickly the guest feels more and more welcome. He knows everything what has to be done to register as a member. And when this is done, a very important step is really done to enter into Toastmasters life. So when this membership registration is done, of course, you are happy, or the guest is really happy. The prospect is not anymore a guest, but belongs to the club. Please make sure that this person has 3 to 4 meetings time to get accustomed, to get used to Toastmasters philosophy, to find out if he or she has enough time to follow Toastmasters life. Not only, it's not only the time which he is investing for the meeting itself, but also the time to read, to prepare speeches, to do some extra activities, also together with the other members. And quite importantly, the mentee, the new member, which I call MEE, a mentee, asks for a mentor, or might, in some clubs, the club board offers different people as possible mentors. And please make sure the mentor is not above the mentee. They are on eye level. They are also in the same way learning. Of course, the mentor usually has at least half a year of advanced experiences, and he knows more about the whole setting, about the activities in the club, and he is also able to explain easy speak and the decision which path has to be taken or can be taken, so that the new member enters quite quickly into the real activities of Toastmasters. So, in my belief, the months 1 to 3 are crucial for the members, the new members, staying in the club, because taking the meeting roles, being responsible, and being able to add to the satisfaction and to the goals of every meeting, this is very important. And I think taking different hats in the meetings also enables the new member to see where are the leading parts. How can he support the meeting? How can she help? And how can she develop more and more competencies? And these leading competencies are the core thing. Of course, speaking will be more and more important too, but it is the core thing to know that Toastmasters carry on with their slogan, where leaders are made. So in the first 3 months, I suppose it will be so, the new member starts his first or her first pathway speech, the icebreaker. And of course, when this is done, might be by the support or accompanied by the mentor, there will be a first success. And I think this is wonderful. When you celebrate this icebreaker, and every member who has done it is proud of herself and proud of himself to have done it and to be able to carry on with the normal steps into the Toastmasters world. So this topic, how to give guests and new members a great time, is duty of every member, of every Toastmaster. And please, dear participants of this webinar, please make sure that all your colleagues in your club, that they understand that it's not just the board which should be active and should be responsible for everything. No, you are responsible that the club is flourishing, that the club is being alive and carrying on, and that the club offers contests and so on. So I'm convinced that these steps you are doing, you listeners just now, the steps all the new members are doing are leading forward. And now also the new members help to add to this positive atmosphere. Dear listeners, dear participants, now, how can a person like me be nearly 10 years Toastmaster without being absolutely convinced of the topic, of the structures, of all the possibilities to gain so much personally in the competencies and on the different stages. So take it serious. Where leaders are made means you all can add to this super positive atmosphere. You all are responsible that prospects and new guests and new members flourish, that they stay, that they are among these Toastmasters within a couple of months. Please talk to the others. Make sure that this philosophy is alive and that this is widening the horizons and broadening. So that's the way, one of the different ways how to give guests and new members a really great time. So that is my introduction, and I am convinced that now you might have some questions, dear participants of this webinar, and think of open questions. Please note them, tell me by chat or by microphone in the next, let's say, 3 to 5 minutes. Now, I am listening. Andreas Geiger, you can see him also here on the right-hand side of your screen. He is supporting me by noting in the chat and by supporting me in the process of answering your questions.
Well, then I allow myself to break the ice, Christian. You mentioned
Yes.
the word Vice President Mentoring, and I know that you are serving in that role of a Vice President Mentoring, so I would be interested in your experiences after the first months in that role.
Okay, and do you think that I just answer now or that I wait till all the questions are together?
I would quickly wait for all the questions to be in so that we have full transparencies about all the questions that are out there, and then start answering them. So please, everybody, unmute your phone or use the chat to post any questions about the topics Christian just covered. Yeah, there are no more questions on the chat. Christian, I think you also prepared 1 or 2 questions, right?
Yes, I did. Shall I just open or just tell which are my 2 additional questions? Okay, one is, who is mentor? Who is taking this role in the club? And just in my belief, special question, what happens if a person interested in Toastmaster is an absolute beginner, without experiences on stages, without any experiences as a public speaker? What can be done? How can we support? What are our ideas? How such a person is welcome as the others?
Very good. I also noted down this question, and thanks to Kevin, who came up with another question on the chat. How much should we follow up on the guests via email, and for how long before it becomes annoying and such? Thank you very much for that question. It's also noted down. As I said, we will answer them all in one go as soon as we have all the questions on the list. Thank you. Okay, so people on the call, please use the opportunity to post more questions in the chat or to unmute yourself. And if there is no more questions left, I think we'll start with the answers. Let's start with this first question of you. When we have these absolute beginners, Christian, how to treat them? Is there any special way?
I think many people think that they are absolute beginners, but this is in most cases not true, because every person has so many occasions to speak among friends, in the business, in schools or universities. And so I think treating ourselves as absolute beginners is an attitude I don't find really. But let's assume somebody has no experience on stages and in public speaking. I think very, very important is this warm welcome, this positive atmosphere when he or she gets first in contact, comes to listen, and so on. Definitely helpful is that this person stays at least for 4 visits as a guest and asks all the questions and tries perhaps in the first few guest meetings to be more and more active already, presenting herself, speaking in 1 or 2 table topics which are not too difficult. So I think the person in charge for the table topics can steer it and not really demand too much in those first encounters, in those first occasions. Then a very fine and also crucial idea is to write down the personal goals. What does the person want to achieve? Where does this guest want to go? Why is the person coming to Toastmasters? Is it just the this slight uneasiness to speak in public or without big preparations, or is it just the lack of experience? Very helpful can be that also in the first or second meeting there will be 1 Toastmaster who acts as a pre-mentor, which is, in my belief, a person who accompanies the guest through the first 2-3 meetings, not being a designated person as a mentor yet, but just to give the guest a good feeling, to be welcome also as a beginner. That's my main idea, to support and to make this person feel at ease also.
And here I can share a story. Today we had 1 member in our meeting over lunchtime. It took him more than 2 years to prepare his icebreaker, meaning his first prepared speech. And in his opening, he told us only since he had a mentor that he sit and they wrote down goals, this made him or triggered him to do that step today. So it really, we celebrated the icebreaker with handing over 1 of these icebreaker ribbons to him.
May I add something here? You just mentioned, Andreas, the goals, and we had this coffee meeting between a normal Toastmaster or usually VPM, and I think there also it is very helpful that the Toastmaster asks the prospect, why are you coming? What would you like to achieve? What are your main weaknesses, if you want to say so? And just wrapping him somehow into this good feeling of being welcome. And I am convinced that in such a way, also really naked beginners, they will be at ease pretty soon.
Okay, let's take the question of Kevin, who asked us, for how long would you follow up with a guest via email, Christian?
Question of balance again. To maintain a good contact, emails are helpful and also important. So let's say somebody is accompanying the prospect and the new member afterwards, so that the prospect or new member knows what is going on, what are special activities. And then in a second step, the mentor. The mentor is usually in contact with his mentee by email, or perhaps by phone, or by smoke signs, if you want to say so. I think very easy to establish a relation between the mentor and mentee. So say what you need. Be open-minded as the new one. Tell the mentor what you want to achieve and ask your questions. And I think then it's very clear that the mentee tells what his needs are. And I just appreciate a lot this open-minded relationships in the Toastmaster clubs, because you tell the others what you need. And Toastmaster also is serving. We are serving other people. We are supporting the members of our club, and not only the members, we are supporting members of other clubs and telling them what could be done. For instance, when you have some experience as a Toastmaster, you offer workshops, you accompany other Toastmasters in the Visitors Trophy. Okay, I just recall Visitors Trophy because in my belief, it's very helpful that you go to see how other clubs function, how they establish a good atmosphere. And so we are learning from each other. Coming back to the question of too many emails and calls, tell your needs, be open, and I think then there will not be a tsunami of emails which are molesting you.
So Kevin, does this answer your question, or do you want to follow up on this? You can answer by unmuting yourself or by using the chat again. And here we have the chat. I think you get the idea. Perfect. Thank you very much, Kevin. Let's continue with the next question, Christian. Who in your roster of club members can be a mentor to new joiners?
This is the easiest question of all, because there is also an easy answer. Every Toastmaster can be a mentor. Of course, usually the Toastmasters who have been in the club for more than half a year or a year, they are more experienced. They know more about the different roles in the meetings, about Easy Speak, where you can decide what's the agenda, who is taking which role in the meeting. And definitely every Toastmaster is able to accompany another person. And mentoring means being here for another one who has not the same experiences. Being here and offering a contact. It's not like school where you have to do something deliberately or where there are stiff rules. No, I think the mentoring idea is that there is somebody who is your first contact to prepare your icebreaker, to answer your questions which are connected with the meetings or the contests and so on. The mentor is not definitely and always here, but the mentor is a person who says, yes, I want to take this role, I want to lead you through the first 3 to 6 months, and then at the end they accomplish, they wrap it up, and then they say goodbye, and the mentor perhaps takes another person as a new mentee. The mentee says, now I know how it's functioning and everything. In the next time, I do not need one. Or coming back after a certain time and saying, now I have some questions about the structure, about doing and preparing a speech, about the feedbacks. And of course, a mentor is also able to give an evaluation, to tell his mentee where are the strong points, where are already positive competencies. And this also supports the mentee, realizing there are so many competencies already. And on the other hand, to have a look at the weaker points, to see, okay, here you should be a little bit more awake and more putting some more strength on those questions. And this is always a giving and taking. That's okay. To wrap it up, mentor, everyone can be a mentor in the club.
So before we continue with my question, which is also about mentoring, I would like to ask Lorenzo, are you able to speak to us? Because I would like to ask a question to you. Perfect. So yes. Lorenzo Joss is the Program Quality Director here in our District 109. You are, so to speak, the guardian of the quality and the guardian of education, equality and experience. So what, from your point of view, from the PQD's point of view, what is important when it comes to guests and new members?
Yeah, I think from my point of view, is to create an environment that is inclusive and is working both for let's say guests and members. So it is inclusive where everybody can at least pursue his personal goals, as we said before, maybe with the help of a mentor, and find his own way where really he feels that he is developed and he can grow in his organization. So this is the umbrella around it. What does it mean in practice? It means in practice that for me, should every member find a, let's say, welcoming environment where he can be felt part of a team or a group, where there is a way for this person to understand what he can get out of the program we have. It could be communication skill, it could be leadership. So there is a way to express the possible, let's say, path we have. And as well, there is a way for this person to find his own pace, his own, let's say, curriculum, so that he can stay not only for one meeting, 6 months, but really he finds value over time to stay in the organization. And as well, a certain time is switching from maybe, let's say, being for himself, even helping others and learning even more. This will be my, what I feel is most important for guest and member, is this really inclusive membership experience, as I call it.
Thank you very much, Lorenzo. And you realized, people on the call, that we are heavily promoting having a mentoring scheme in our clubs. And now over to you, Christian, again. You have been serving in the role. Your club created that new role, Vice President Mentoring. So what are your first experiences and observations from that role?
As a Vice President, now you can hear me, huh? Okay. As a Vice President Mentoring, I try to initiate the main thought into the club. This means giving people a rough idea what mentoring is about, establishing the background knowledge, and of course, enabling people to take this role. What I did in the last 6 months, being now the first VP mentoring in Zurich Club, I offered a special workshop in place, or a workshop which lasted 2.5 hours in October, inviting all members of the club to participate. There I was able to transform and transport all the ideas belonging to the mentoring subject, and also helping the members to do their first steps into the mentoring world, which means asking each other about the goals, asking about the competencies which should a mentor offer to his mentee, and of course about to offer a knowledge about the steps through a mentorship which lasts 3 to 6 months. So this workshop was a very lively one. I was really happy to create a good base in the Zurich Club, which helps people to not to draw back immediately when I am asking, could you be a mentor for this and that person? Then to establish a good base also in the club, I have this list of the members, and of course the list who is a mentor and who is their mentee. Of course, a mentor can also have 2 or 3 mentees. This is easily done because, as I mentioned before, this mentorship is not something which takes hours and hours. It needs an initial coming together to create a mutual understanding about the mentorship, and of course, especially the goals the mentee wants to achieve. And so, in my belief, it's already done quite a lot, but of course we don't have so many new mentors yet. There is a handful who is able to start the mentorship, and there are so many tiny details which are really helpful. A second thing, beside the workshop which I did, I gave 2 speeches about mentoring in the club, and this is also one of the duties one has to fulfill in certain pathway projects. Okay, so you take the project, it's a speech about mentoring, and as you can see, I'm a person who is really fascinated of the mentorship and the Toastmaster idea. And I think if you have so much heart and so much emotion for the whole thing, to become a leader, to be a leader, to support others to become leaders, so then I think there is a little step that people are open-minded, that they are willing to be mentor. And if I'm able to tell people what are the first steps to become a mentor, and that it is definitely not difficult, then it's starting to function. So what I do now, from January on, I will speak more with personally with some of the people in my club to tell them that they are important. And this is, again, you as a Toastmaster, you are important. And please spread the word that also in all those other clubs who are listening at the moment, that this idea is a very crucial one.
Super. Thank you very much, Christian. We have 1 more minute to go. What is your final statement here?
Okay, it's okay. I couldn't hear. Have you answered a next question, Andreas?
There are no more questions, Christian, and we have 1 more minute, so you can have a final statement.
Okay, I wrap it up. Okay, this seminar, this webinar tonight has one central thought. It is important that every member of each Toastmaster Club is aware of being important. Every member can add to this positive atmosphere to create an environment where prospects and new members are welcome, well supported, and led through the first months of their membership. And please get in contact with the boards, with the members, and I'm sure that this idea is spreading out.
Beautiful. Thank you very much, Christian. We will end the recording at this point.